For me, what I know and what I do, what makes me happy is football. I was actually, like you said, cashless. I was homeless. Nobody knows what I was doing. Okay. Nobody supported me except for my mom.
Welcome everyone to Say Africa podcast, where we sit down with amazing guests doing amazing things in the UAE. Now, some of my guests started from humble beginnings, and today's guest is really no exception. Today's episode is all about restoring your faith in human kindness and the incredible power of perseverance. My guest was a victim of a series of unfortunate events that left him cashless and homeless, but not hopeless. So stick around and hear how an aspiring football player was robbed of his dream of playing professionally to now owning a football academy. In fact, not one, but multiple football academies in Dubai, thanks to a chance encounter with kindness. Ahmed Geidam, welcome to Say Africa.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that I got to hear about your journey, Ahmed. And today I want the listeners and the audience to hear about your journey and to hear how humanity prevailed in your case, alhamdulillah. So Ahmed, tell us where you're from and tell us how growing up was like at home.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for having me here. It's such a great honor. Like you said earlier, my name is Ahmed Geidam. I'm from Yobe State in Nigeria, in the northeastern part of Nigeria.
Okay. Though
I was born and raised in Maiduguri, a city where Boko Haram actually started.
Oh.
Yeah, so growing up actually was a bit of, a lot of challenges actually, because I came from a polygamous family.
Okay.
My father is having 2 wives, and as it is in polygamous family, there's always going to be some challenges, and so it wasn't really pleasant. A lot went on through, the journey of growing up.
Now tell me, Ahmed, is polygamy common practice where you're from?
Yes, actually it is.
Okay.
You find families where there are 3 wives, even 4 wives with lots of kids.
Okay.
In most cases, there are so many domestic, violence, so to say, or difficulties, where the families are experiencing. So for me, in my case as well, we have some kind of challenges, but alhamdulillah, my father is someone who actually tried to bring the family together regardless of the differences. And my mom especially, she's someone who always tried to, make us understand that, look, this life, you always face challenges. There's always going to be challenges, series of challenges. When you overcome one, don't think that, okay, it's over. There's going to be a bigger one, the next one. And so my father is actually a business person growing up, and then later he joined politics.
Okay.
So we don't get to spend time with him. He's always busy in another city. We're actually born and raised in Maiduguri. Okay. So he always spent 5 days in the other city. We only get to see him in weekends. So I do not have that relationship with my father. But my mom, of course, I'm always with her. By the way, we are the first child from my mom in my father's house.
When you say we, what does that mean?
I have a twin brother.
Twin brother, okay.
Yeah, I have a twin brother. So we're like the head from my mother's side, right?
Okay.
So growing up, we are close to my mom, and she's this woman that actually, she's very patient. Okay. She never say anything regardless of whatever happens to her, and she always try to let us understand how life works. I learn a lot from my mom. She made me realize that, look, in this life, especially as a child, a male child, you have to work hard, you have to study, you have to be resilient, you have to be patient, you have to be prepared for what life will throw at you. So there's so many things I've learned with her, from her, but the most important is patient. because like I mentioned in the beginning, there was a lot of challenges in my home, but my mom is someone who never say anything.
Those are such great lessons for a mother to instill in young boys.
Yeah.
Tell me now, however, what were some of your fondest memories of growing up?
Well, actually, it's interesting because I've learned so many things, like I said in the beginning, from my mom. One of the things is cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to cook with my mom.
Okay.
She put us in the kitchen, allow us to cook, sometimes without support or help from her.
But tell me, is that common practice for Nigerian young boys to be in the kitchen?
At the time, no.
Okay.
Because at the time, my dad actually don't like that.
Okay.
So he most Nigerians, especially from my region, believe that kitchen is actually only for ladies or women. So as a boy or as a male child, you're not supposed to be in the kitchen. But my mom made me realize from a different perspective.
Can you see the benefit of that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It helps change my life in different ways, because it allows me to see things from different perspectives.
Okay.
When there's a certain thing that people believe or see, I always try to see from a different perspective.
Okay.
To see whether or not it's actually what people are saying is correct about that. So it helps change my perception, actually.
Wonderful. Now, I understand the expectations of a male child, given a traditional family that you grew up with. So what was your schooling life like? Did you go to school? Did you study in the same state? Take us through that journey.
Yeah, well, about education, my father unfortunately wasn't able to go to school, because at the time his father, my grandfather, didn't allow him to go to school. But then he later understood the benefit and importance of education.
Okay.
So my father is someone who, you have to go to school.
Now, was that common practice at your father's time growing up for the male child not to go to school? Because that's contrary to popular belief. Normally the male child is always sent to school.
Yeah, actually it is a common practice, because at the time, most of the people then, especially from my region, actually not exposed to Western education. Okay. So for them, it's a new thing. Accepting it has been a challenge. So even for my father's family, they were two actually from my father with his older brother. So after back and forth with the government and all, because at the time the government will come and take the male child to school, So my grandfather finally agrees to allow my father's older brother to go to school and keep my father away from school. So, but he later understood the power of education, and that's why he ensures that every of his child goes to school. Okay. Every child. My father never, ever compromised education. He ensured that we go to school and have the right education.
Okay. Ahmed, I want you to share with us, what was education then like for you? What were the expectations then put on you, your brother, and your other siblings? How many siblings do you have?
Well, this is interesting. My mom actually is having 6 children. Okay. Yeah, so 2 twin brothers, and then we have the immediate younger brother. Then we have a sister. We have a brother, and then another sister, the last one. But from my father, in the whole family, we're 18 of us.
18?
I'm sorry. 13 actually.
13 siblings?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So my stepmom is having 7.
Okay. 7
children. So it's fun growing up actually.
Okay. So you all went to the same school?
No.
Okay.
Because my stepbrother, I have a stepbrother and stepsisters, older sisters.
Okay.
They all went to different school.
Okay.
So when our time came, we went to a different school.
You were a good student? Did you perform well? Did you enjoy education? Did you like going to school?
Oh, okay. This is so interesting, because actually at this point, speaking of education, I wasn't really one of the best students.
Okay.
And while I was young, for me, what I know and what I do, what makes me happy, It's football.
Football, okay.
Yeah, it's football.
That's,
Just like
that's pretty common. A lot of kids love,
yes,
especially
yes,
boys.
absolutely, because everyone plays football around. But for me, it's more than just a game, even from the early age.
How so?
I don't know how it got to me.
Okay.
It was deeply in my heart. I play football every single day.
Okay.
And for me, football, it's what actually makes me happy. You know, so for me, I don't know anything but football. So I go to school, I try to ensure I study, make my parents happy, but then I go play football.
What is it about football that you loved? Was it, I assume you were very talented. Was it the goal scoring? Was it the camaraderie about being with your friends? Was it just doing something physical? What was it about football?
Everything. You know, that's the beauty of football. Everything. You know, even everything and more.
Okay.
Yeah, football challenges you actually. It makes you think twice as much as you should. You know, because when you're playing, you don't want to lose the ball. That's one fact about football.
So there's control there?
Yes.
Okay.
So you should be able to be creative in ensuring you keep the ball with you or with your team.
Okay.
So you're always constantly thinking, which way should I go? Should I go right? Should I go left? How do I protect the ball?
Okay.
How do I move with the ball and all of that? So football actually brings the best in you because it's a complex game. You have to move in different directions. You have to do different things. And it gives some kind of joy that I can't explain.
Okay.
I don't think there's any football player that can truly explain to you the joy that football gives, you know. So that's one thing that I really enjoy about football.
So you were playing football then all throughout school?
Yeah, I play football the second I return from school.
Okay.
One thing I always remember is when I return from school, just throw my bag, throw my lunchbox, everything, and then yalla, I go
Off to
out
the
to play
field.
football. Even regardless of the weather.
Okay.
You know, it used to be really hot during summer in Nigeria, and I don't feel it.
You'd still be out there in the
I
field,
still- yeah.
kicking a ball with your
And
friends.
for me, I think one of the things that actually makes me different is I'm keen to learning. I remember this very clearly when I was young. It fascinates me to see someone does something in football that I don't know how to do. So I always reach out to them and say, hey, because at the time we don't have the privilege of watching the international football, right, on the TV and all of that. So we only play in our small community.
Okay.
So in a situation where I see someone does maybe, let's say, step over, like, oh, wow, this is cool. I want to learn this. You know, I will go meet him. Can you teach me what you do? You know, I remember there's this very good friend of mine. He's called Chinedu. He's very skillful. He follows Ronaldinho. He did all kinds of skills and all. So it fascinates me. It's like, okay, bro, please, can you teach me how to do this? Always go out there and practice.
Incredible.
I want to learn the juggling, which is the kick-ups.
Right.
You know, I don't know how to do it. When I saw someone, you know, doing the kick-ups with both feet, I was like, wait a minute, someone can do this? Then I would have to do it. Then I get a ball, I go borrow a ball after school. I go keep kicking. I ask a friend, how do I learn this? He said, you know what, just keep practicing. And if you don't know how to do it without any support, be in front of a wall, keep kicking the ball against the wall, and then keep getting the technique. And gradually, and that's how
Amazing.
eventually I became so good in kick-ups. So that's how I always learn football, and I always improve and get better ahead of my friends.
Amazing. So you weren't just playing the game for the sake of it. You really wanted to become a skillful player.
Absolutely. I want to explore.
Okay.
I want to explore the game. I want to learn more in the game.
Okay. And did your parents support your football passion?
Well, this is the most difficult part, actually. My father hates it. He hates it.
Why?
I think because he's a traditional person.
Okay.
And secondly, he believes in education.
Okay.
You know, the fact that he hasn't enjoyed education, so he doesn't want his kids to go down that path.
Or rather, he saw football as potentially taking you away from education.
That's correct.
Okay.
So he always pushes us back to education. So that's why he doesn't want to see us play football. But as a kid, you know, especially the fact that he doesn't stay with us that much, I always go play. My mom, on the other hand, she doesn't really support and she doesn't stop us.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just in between. Okay, when we have to do something, she doesn't let us go.
Okay.
But she doesn't like really stop us from going to play football. My dad, when he's around, you don't
No
get out
football.
of that. Yeah, unless maybe you try to sneak out and stuff. Yeah, or even when you go and come back, you know, the typical African father.
What about the other siblings? Did you play football with them?
Yes, I play football with my siblings. My twin brother also plays football. My younger brothers, we play football, and my friends.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you had no means of actually watching international games. Does that mean you didn't have access to, say, a TV at home? Or was it, what was the challenge there?
We have access to television,
Okay.
but you know, the international games, of course, you have to subscribe.
Understood.
Yeah, so
Understood,
of course, my dad doesn't want, he would never do that.
Okay.
He would never subscribe to a football channel for us to watch football.
Okay.
So I only get to watch when I go to my grandparents' home.
Okay.
Yeah, my uncles, they love football. They're all in football, in sport in general.
Okay.
So that's why I love going to my grandparents' home, because I get to hear about football, learn about football, understand what is happening in the world, get to know about my favorite team.
Okay.
But
Were they a little bit more supportive of you playing football?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, especially my grandfather. We go, grandparents, we go and play football as much as we want without anybody stopping us.
Okay.
So I always want to go to my grandfather's home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Now tell me, you went to university?
Yes. So after all of this, I, due to the challenges, in my home, I was able to go to this. I kept studying, and when I finished high school, it was a big of challenge to further my education. So, like I said in the beginning, I'm someone who actually is curious all the time. I always want to learn. I want to find out what's happening. I'm always trying to see from different perspectives. So I keep asking, looking around, how can someone, get a better education in a better environment, in a much more better way, though it is also in line with my football dream, aspirations. I grew up believing or wanting to play football. For me, all my life. So
you wanted to play professionally?
I wanted to play professional.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to play professional. I do not see myself actually studying or working in the corporate world. I really, since when I was young, much more young, I used to dream and see myself playing in the top clubs in Europe, especially Arsenal.
What gave you
my favorite club?
Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm a big Arsenal fan.
Any particular player?
Yep, I have a player that actually I look up to, even though I don't get the chance to watch him as much I was supposed to, which is Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry, I love Thierry Henry
I
as well.
love him so much. I still look forward to meeting him and explain to him, tell him how much I'm a big fan of his. I don't think there is any fan that is as big as me.
Amazing. So Thierry Henry, if you happen to be watching this, Ahmed Geidam is your biggest fan.
I am the biggest fan. I really look forward to meeting him.
Incredible, and hopefully someday you do.
Inshallah.
But Ahmed, tell me, what instilled the confidence in you to see a potential in you becoming a professional player?
Well, for me, it's all about vision.
Okay.
Since when I was young, I don't even know what vision was, but I used to see things in my mind when I was young. I used to see myself, playing at the big clubs, big levels. So, and I always believe in my vision, even without anyone telling me about what vision is, believing in a vision or going up. I used to see it. So that actually pushes me, made me feel like, okay, wait, if I can see it, then maybe it's out there for me. Keep trying, keep going, you never know. So for me, it's always come in my vision, and I always believe that, okay, one step at a time, I would get there. So I used to share with other people that this is my goal, and then, people don't believe, and people make fun of you, think that you're just, too ambitious and all. But for me, it's vision, actually.
Okay.
It makes me believe that I can do it.
Okay, so take us back to, you graduate from high school. Did you do well?
Not pretty well, but yeah, decent.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, I have a pretty good result,
Okay.
but not really well.
Okay.
That was even why I wasn't able to further my education. I had to resit again, actually,
Okay.
to take another final exam.
Okay.
So in that process,
Okay.
then I found out that, okay, there could be opportunity for getting a scholarship to study abroad.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that hits me. Okay, maybe this is the moment that I should go to abroad and pursue my football career.
Okay.
Then I started seeking for scholarship,
Right.
and it was really amazing for me because I just tried to apply for admission.
And where were these scholarships? Was this online? Was there a local agency that was assisting you?
No, actually, that's why I said it's so special to me. It was just me and my friend trying to try something that was never done before.
Okay.
We apply for the admission ourselves online. At the
So
time,
directly to a university?
yes.
Okay.
When we secured admission, then we try to using my father's influence, and his also as well, because like I said, my father is in the politics.
Okay.
So we try to reach out to some of the prominent people in my state.
Okay.
We wrote an application letter seeking for sponsorship and scholarship from the government to support us and study medicine at the time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now let's just dial back. Walk me through the process of you going online to apply for universities.
It was a big of drama, actually, because at the time I don't have no smartphones, no internet, nothing.
So how would you access online application forms?
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing, and that's what I look back and be proud of myself, actually, because we have internet cafes.
Okay.
I don't have money,
Okay.
but I will go to my mom and say, "Mom, please, can you give me some money? I want to go to the internet cafe." What would you do? I just want to try some admission stuff. First, she doesn't really, but she supported me. She would
Okay.
give me money. I will go and buy 30 minutes, 1 hour time. I'll go online. I don't even know how to use the internet as much, but because I was passionate, I could say it in my vision that I'm in abroad already. So I would go search, keep searching universities across the globe, and then that's how I keep learning, keep getting to know the process.
Okay.
I didn't even know the process of how to get an admission. But then every now and then, every time I get any penny, I go to the internet cafe. I became the best friend of internet cafe because I want to get an admission. So I always look for any amount I can get, go to internet cafe and keep searching for universities to apply. And then eventually I got admitted into a university in Ukraine. And then I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is the moment I'm going to Europe.
This is incredible, Ahmed.
Yeah.
You had no access to direct internet, only through a cafe. You then were able to get some money, some pocket money to use either from mom or other family members. And it was only during those limited times at the internet cafe you were able to find application forms, understand what the process is, apply, and actually secure a scholarship.
That's correct.
That is such an achievement.
Absolutely. At the time,
What was the feeling like once you got the acceptance?
I was so excited. The second I got the admission, I was like, yes, my dream is finally come into life.
Who did you tell first?
My mom, of course. She's the only support I had.
Right.
She's the only person actually who believed in me. Interestingly, while I was always speaking about, internet, I want to go to the internet, I want to apply, even amongst my family, I found someone who told me, look, you're just wasting your time. You're not going to get any admission. In fact, you're not going to as far as Niger for education. Try and focus and just study here. I understand his perspective. He's not coming from a jealousy or hatred perspective. Right. He's limiting beliefs. Things that I cannot go anywhere outside my, environment.
Very well said. Limiting belief.
Absolutely. Okay. So for me, even at the time, I don't used to believe in them.
Okay.
I don't believe in whatever anyone is saying because people used to talk about me always being online, always trying to, nobody knows what I was doing. Okay. Nobody supported me except for my mom.
Amazing. So you get the application you get the admission, you tell your mom, there's obviously a moment of deep joy.
Absolutely.
But this admission, was this 100% scholarship?
No, that's how it works. After the admission,
okay,
then I sat down, I wrote an application. I wasn't even really good in writing application. You know, with the help of my friend that we're actually doing it together, we wrote an application. You know what? We should write to the government, explaining to them that this is what we want, and we already secured an admission. We need their support to go study because we want to come back and help the state, right?
So there wasn't a fund existing that you wanted to access scholarship from. You were just writing to the governor.
Absolutely.
Seeking support.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. Okay.
So we wrote the letter, we put all the documents, and then we went to meet one of the commissioners, you know, and then we explained to him. He was so impressed. Wow, these boys could think like this and come up with this. So it's like, okay, I'm going to help you.
Okay.
So that's when I at first I didn't inform my father, you know, then later I informed him. And then eventually it was, for me, in my opinion, the special scholarship ever. Because the governor, when he received the application, he gave us a direct scholarship. Direct scholarship. We were asked to write, you know, the funds we need. How much do we need for this scholarship? We are the one who put down the figures.
Incredible.
You know, so that's the interesting part. You know, in the process, nobody believed me.
Yeah.
But when it happened, everyone was shocked. How? How did you do that? I want to do it. Can you help me? You know? So going back again, that's the power of vision. For me, that's what I see. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know who I need to meet, but I just know that I need to keep moving forward.
You had the belief, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
So
you put down then a budget to then share with the governor.
Absolutely.
And then what happened next?
They gave us cash. Cash. It wasn't like they send it to the university. No, they gave us our cash in hand. Annual cash, actually, annual, you know, funding.
So you had your year's worth of expenses covered in cash up front.
Everything, including miscellaneous.
Amazing.
Everything. And every amount we put down, they gave us. So I went to the capital city for visa, obviously. But that's the beginning of the journey, actually experiencing, you know, getting cheated. You know, I met, of course, a couple of agents. You know, you have to go through all of that to apply for the visa. So I got cheated, and then even when I got the visa application, and then I got rejected, not once but twice. And in the process, we lost a lot of money. So then that's when I was disappointed. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to fail my mom especially, and I don't know what was happening. I had nobody to talk to. So it was devastating. It was frustrating. And then I was like, you know what? I tried to reach out to couple of friends, and then I was introduced to a woman in Kano State. She's also an agent. And then I explained to her my situation, that this is my dream. This is the opportunity I have. And this is the situation. I need your help. Then she told me, look, for medicine, it's actually difficult to secure admission and visa anywhere in the globe, especially looking at my result. So she advised me to go for another profession, another course, you know. So she convinced me to take oil and gas engineering. Considering that Nigeria is rich in oil and gas, right?
That's a natural,
and then eventually she got me visa and admission in China, and I went to study in China.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So Ahmed, here you were, a young child who had such strong beliefs that there are opportunities out there. You pursued it, got admission into a university in Ukraine. You were then able to secure funding that initially was not even there, but you had people around you who were telling you this is absolutely not possible. In fact, if anything, you wouldn't go as far as Niger, which is like a neighboring country. Now, this is such a powerful thing that I'd love to share with our audience, that other people's limiting beliefs should not stop you from pursuing your dreams. As long as you have a vision, you have strong conviction, keep being persistent. So now you've got an opportunity to go to China. What was it like in China?
China, you know, as a little boy from Maiduguri, a small city, you know, in Nigeria, in Africa, with little exposure, you know, it was actually challenging in the beginning because I did all of this thing by myself. I had no support or mentor or whatever, or guide throughout the journey.
Now tell me, let's just dial back. You said that quite a bit of money had been used in these agents that cheated you effectively, and now you had this opportunity for China. Were the funds that were remaining enough to secure your 1 year of China?
No, absolutely not.
So what happened?
That's what happened. When I realized I spent almost 50% of the funding, I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble now. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not going to go in abroad again. But after that, I still wrote to the government, explained the situation to them, that this is what happened. And guess what? The government actually funded me again.
So they topped it up.
Give us a budget.
Wow.
Yeah, give us a budget. I was like, wow, I do not expect that.
That's a very, very generous government.
Yeah, so they got us, gave us the funding, and I went to China. And China, in the beginning, of course, it's a new continent. And again, let me remind you, you remember someone telling me that I'm not going as far as Niger?
Correct.
That's when it hits me. Now, God take me to China, which is thousands of miles away from my home.
Absolutely.
Niger was just few miles away.
Right.
China. And that's when I realized, okay, you know what? Never ever allow anybody stop you from going whatever it is you really wanted to go for, because it's not in their hands. So China was challenging in the beginning. The language,
of course,
the food, the culture. Oh my God, the temperature.
It couldn't be any more different to Nigeria.
Yep, and I went during winter.
Oh.
It was cold. I was in actually Fushun. It's a city in the Shenyang province, the northeastern part of China. It was really cold. I had a very difficult time, at the time, in the beginning. So, but I really enjoyed my life in China. China actually exposed me to the realities of life. I met people from different countries, different continents. I met people from different backgrounds. And yep, it was interesting in China.
Wonderful. And how long were you there for?
I was there for 4 years. It was a 4-year course.
Okay, so you were there to pursue a degree in oil and gas engineering, you said, correct? Now, where does football feature during your time in China? Are you playing any football at all? Do they play football in China?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting though, but at the time, football, it's still popular, but the Chinese don't play football as much. It's basketball.
Basketball,
for them,
right, yes.
And ping pong and what have you. Yeah. So for us, in my university, we have the international department where there are so many different, people from nationalities. So, and we love football. Where eventually I found myself in a football-loving environment. Yeah, and in my first semester, I was able to make it to the first team. That was something I would never believe. In my first semester, I was able to make it to the first team. And I played for the regional tournament. We play regional tournament in China amongst the universities. And I performed pretty well. Then that's when I began to get into the team. They were my seniors and bigger boys. I was a bit small, not strong, but I played football every single day. And for me, the goal was not just to go study, was also to pursue football as a career. So I was trying to create balance in between the two.
Were you looking to play professionally in China?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, I was on a scholarship. So I was being very careful. Because I don't want to disappoint
your
my mom,
academia could not
so I try to ensure that I create the balance. I go to school, ensure that my grades are good, so that I can actually keep getting the scholarship till I finish. And at the same time, pursue my football career.
Now, within those 4 years, did you go home?
Yes, I went home 3 times.
3 times.
I go back home every winter vacation.
That's a smart move.
I can't stay. Winter, no, I can't stay in China.
Yeah, it must have been extremely cold.
Yeah.
And what was it like every time when you came back? Were people more excited? Was the family more excited to have you back?
Absolutely, especially my mom. My mom is so proud. She was excited. It's something that in my family, no one had gone abroad before. It was the first person.
What about your twin brother? Did you not take him along with you? Was
No.
he not interested in China?
No,
Okay.
he haven't traveled outside Nigeria yet, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so it was 4 years there. Tell me, any milestones whilst you were in China that you're very proud of?
Yep, actually what happened in China was, remember, I mean, growing up, my mom made us realize the importance of education. And I'm always curious about life and learning new things. So when I was when I went to China, I was actually not really good in speaking English, you know, because of the level of education.
Okay.
So I was a bit, you know, reluctant to speak.
Okay.
You know, I don't speak. I'm always quiet listening. So I had this amazing friend from Zimbabwe, Moses Kadire. I always ask him, when he speaks, I find it amazing. You know, they're very fluent in English. And so I always ask him, bro, I really want to improve, you know, in my English language. And also he has supported me a lot, you know, tried to push me to speak. The more you speak, the more you build the confidence and you improve.
Amazing.
So that actually was the beginning when I started interacting with people, getting to know and understand people well, how they speak, how they think. So I began to think of things differently. And then I studied my university. It was a new department for the international students.
Okay.
We were very few. There was no any student union whatsoever.
Okay.
So I was curious in my first year, what's happening? There should be, I believe that universities, there should be some sort of student union and all.
Absolutely.
So I was trying to reach out to a couple of friends and, you know, colleagues and stuff and tell them, look, we need to have a student union. But no one is actually seeing it. You know, for me, I see it as an umbrella that could support and stand for the students as one voice, you know. Because I remember, if you have an issue, you have to go meet the administration and you have to deal it yourself. And it was a challenge for us. So I was like, if we will have one voice, I think it would be beneficial to all.
Absolutely.
You know, and
far
more
effective.
effective.
And far more effective.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so I was able to bring the Nigerians. At the time, we were just 18.
Okay.
And then I told them, look, guys, we need to start something. I reached out to a couple of other universities from the student unions. I reached out to them, asked them, what do we do? How do we start? What you're doing? And they
Other
guide
universities
me.
in
Other
China?
universities in China.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will search and get their contact and call them. Look, this is what is happening. We want to learn from you and all. So they guided me, and I called these guys. We talked, and then they said, okay, if you bring the idea, then you take the lead. I do not want to be the leader. I don't know how to lead. But then they said, if you want this to happen, then you should lead.
You've got to take it up.
Yeah, then of course, then I really want it. In my vision, I see it becoming huge organization that brings the students together, you know, and achieve so many things together. And that's what
Now tell me, at that time, were you facing or had you faced quite a few challenges that you had to deal with by yourself?
Yes, of course. With the administration, there are a couple of challenges. When I go to the administration, they don't actually listen to me as much as I deserve to be listened.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had actually faced issues and challenges that you feel that this body would be able to help and support.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay.
So we come up with a structure with the help of other association from other universities. We had the EXCO, as they say it, the president, vice president, and all. And I was the president.
I was vice president in the last university I was in.
Yeah. So then we informed the administration officially. This is it, and they accepted actually. So then it started becoming really effective. And then other country students begin to realize, oh, well, we need to also have an organization like a student union. Then that's how it started. And that's one thing I'm so much proud of. Before I graduated, before I left China, it grew to a level where it actually changes lives. People, even after when I left, benefited from that initiative.
That's a huge initiative.
Eventually, now other countries started having the Tanzanian Student Association, Ghana Student Association, and all of that, Russian Student Association. Then eventually we realized, okay, now we need to have the international student association. At the time, we started with the African. We had African Student Association.
Amazing. Trailblazers. And that is still ongoing till today?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful.
It's something I'm very much proud of.
That's an incredible milestone. And are you still in touch with some of your friends that you went to school with, especially your Zimbabwean friend who helped you with the English?
Absolutely. He's someone I appreciate so much because he had helped me realize so many things, improve, of course, my English language, and also become a better person. I'm still in touch with him. He might be visiting Dubai soon, and I told him the second he arrived, he should let me know.
Fantastic, wonderful. So you finished 4 years, you graduated. Was the family able to attend your graduation?
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was expecting at least one person, but unfortunately, nobody was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened next? Did you stay in China much longer? Or?
Yes, after graduation, I kept playing football.
Okay.
Yeah, there was this club, not a professional club though. I was playing with them, but for a couple of months. But I realized there was no opportunity to continue because China is a country at the time that doesn't really look at the upcoming players, talented players. They only focus on the professional players.
Okay.
Yeah, so we tried our best, but it wasn't happening, and time was running out. My visa was ending,
of course.
And after my visa, if I don't have a job or anything, I wouldn't be able to extend my visa. Yeah, so that's when I realized, you know what? I think it's over for me here. I need to go back home. So I returned home after that, after a couple of months.
Okay. Yeah. And what was the plan then? Pursue the engineering or still pursue football?
Yep. When I return home, now there is so much expectations,
of course,
hopes on me.
Absolutely.
Because Nigeria, oil and gas is a big thing.
Yes.
You know, so anybody in the oil and gas is considered as the breadwinner of the family and all. So of course I try to, you know, I was like at this point because my ultimate goal is to be there for my mom, you know, and my siblings. So I was like, you know what? I think I should try and see maybe if this engineering is what actually is for me. So I tried to apply all of there is no single oil and gas company in Nigeria that I haven't applied for.
But now, by this time, you're an expert in applications, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I keep applying for jobs, but there was nothing. And then eventually, through a friend, I got an opportunity to work with Chinese company. It's a power construction company called Power China.
Okay.
So I picked
Did
up
it
a
help
job.
that you had, you know, obviously the exposure in China, being a graduate of China?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's even the reason they're looking for graduates who studied in China.
Okay.
So I was introduced and I had the opportunity and I started working with them. At the same time, I was applying for a job in the oil and gas industry because that was when everyone in my family was hoping for me to get into.
Of course.
You know, so, but eventually it didn't happen.
Okay.
And I did not even get any interview offer or anything. Nothing. After all the applications, nobody called, nothing.
Okay, so you stayed with this Chinese power company?
Yep.
Okay.
I was working with them. I worked with them for 3 years. And in the process, because this is a power construction company, we deal with government entities and government ministries.
Right.
So what happened was whenever we're going to any government ministries, I try to go with my CV.
Okay.
Yeah, after our meetings and engagement with the Chinese company, behind them, I'm like, okay, if I meet anybody, this is my profession. I really need. So there was a time we had a meeting with NNPC. NNPC is the largest petroleum, government-owned petroleum company in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I met this man who actually also helped change my perspective. And I talked to him. He's from my state, actually. So I told him, this is my situation. I needed help, you know. So he told me the truth that, look, I'm not taking your CV. Because if I take your CV, I'm actually dumping it. So the reality is you don't need to keep giving out your CVs.
Okay.
He told me his story that he does this. He does actually the same. He gave out more than 50 CVs, but nothing came out of that. So he told me, look, what I would tell you is, just keep doing your best. Keep seeking out for online applications. CVs doesn't help.
Okay.
He said you're just wasting your time and your resources. And in his position, he cannot help me.
Okay.
The only thing he told me is keep exploring yourself, keep doing your best.
Okay.
The right time will come for you for the best thing that you deserve. So after that moment, I decided no more CVs again, because I've given enough. I've given to prominent people in Nigeria through my father. I've given to many people my CVs.
And nothing was turning around.
Yes.
Okay. It's interesting to hear that, despite the challenging milestones that you've been through so far, Ahmed, there's always a guardian angel appearing at the right time.
Absolutely.
Here now, in the process of trying to find a job, you find a complete stranger who tells you, look, this is my experience. This is the reality.
Absolutely.
Save your resources. So I'm pretty sure, printing all these CVs costs money.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So how long did you end up working with the Chinese company?
I worked with them for 2 years, 7 months.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what is it like working for a Chinese company? Just culturally, is it different? Is it like working for another Nigerian company? I'm always very curious.
Yes, it's absolutely completely different.
Okay. How so?
Because Chinese, they actually believe in work.
Okay.
You have to work. Even when there is no work, you have to work.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Chinese never allow you to rest.
Okay.
You just have to work, because this is your job. Even when we have nothing to do, just work.
Create something to do.
So it was hectic actually from Mondays to Fridays.
Okay.
I only get Saturday and Sundays. I don't even get even a break in between in case I have something to do of my own.
Okay.
It's always from 8 to 5. Okay. So it's pretty hectic. And that's when I realized, in that moment, after meeting that man, I begin to ask myself questions. What is happening?
Okay.
Where am I going to? What is the next thing from here? And I begin to look into my future.
Okay.
Then I see something different.
And what was that?
I didn't see myself there. I see myself abroad again.
Okay.
I see myself in the football field.
Still football?
Football again. I was not playing football when I was working and all. But when I try to reach out to myself and figure out what's truly in there for me, I see football.
Now, Ahmed, you've been able to study abroad 4 years in China, something that no one in your family has done, been able to achieve. You come back, you find a decent job with a Chinese company. You've been working for a few years. There's obviously stability, I'd presume, financially. Are you now still staying at home, or were you staying somewhere else?
No, it was in the capital city of Nigeria, Abuja.
So you were staying independently then?
Yes,
by
independently.
This stage? Okay.
And it was pretty well, I mean, decent.
Okay.
I was earning decently,
okay,
supporting my family and doing well.
So you had an income enough to look after not just yourself, but your family
Absolutely,
as well?
absolutely.
Okay. But then you want to still pursue football?
Yes, I see something different other than that. So that's when I begin to, like, okay, what happened now? What is happening? I get confused, because now I'm getting older, and then this is coming back again, football. And I was like, what's happening? So I then reached out to my friend, my childhood friend, Halilu Ibrahim Makintami. Amazing guy, amazing fellow. He's in Australia.
Okay.
So he's the person I always reach out to when I need help and, with decisions and all.
Okay. A confidant?
Yes, absolutely. So I told him about my situation. And you know what? He told me something very powerful. After explaining the situation to him, that this is it and I don't want the support I'm giving to stop, and I'm confused, I don't know what to do. He told me, look, at this moment you need to realize that if you really want to grow beyond this level, then there has to be a level of sacrifice that you need to make.
Very true.
Yes. And it's going to take you a big step backwards before you move forward. So he said you have to understand that and inform your parents, whatever, your mom specifically, that look, you need to take a step, and whatever that is coming would stop, and then you would have to take another step forward. Then that actually helped me change my perspective, because I was scared if I quit this job, go for something completely new that I don't know whether or not it's going to work out, what would happen and all of that, Then I realized, okay, he is actually right. If I really want to grow beyond this, I have to make a sacrifice. And then there is another friend of mine who actually were working in the same company, very amazing friend of mine, Halilu Abubakar Muazu. He is also someone I always sit with, I always talk to. He supported me. He gave me, these two individuals gave me the push I need to make the decision.
And what was this decision?
It was a tough one. It's a decision to quit and move out of Nigeria to seek opportunity in football.
Okay, so you were encouraged to leave a secure job where you were able to look after yourself and your family to pursue football outside of Nigeria.
Yes.
Is that why you came to the UAE?